Welcome to this week's Golf Center. I'm Bob Stevens of 104.9 The Surf, along with Pete Popovich of the Golf Performance Center out at Old South.
Great to be
Boy,
here.
it has been a wild week in golf. We got a wild show we got to tee up for, and then we'll talk about that wild
So much
week.
for those dog days of summer, huh?
Woo! I tell you what, we are going to talk with Peter Orell, who actually is the CEO of the Hank Haney IJGA golf operation. I think you could almost call it empire now. They've gotten so big. Eric Goldstein will join us. He's with Lowcountry Golf Cars. You're going to learn a little something, I think, about golf cars and how they aren't really all the same, and there is some new technology to consider.
It's not your grandpa's golf car anymore, is it?
Yeah, that's for sure. And then Jason Baile, who is the new head teaching professional out at Belfair, will join us. He'll give us some thoughts coming up from Sea Island as to what's going on down there, and certainly what is going on out at Belfair. A lot of interesting changes. But first, let's get into this past week in golf. It all begins out at Berkeley Hall, where the Players Am was held, soggy. You know, if they want to have it rain on the island, bring the Players Am to town, because the last 2 years we haven't been able to finish it. Here is our winner, Hunter Stewart of Vanderbilt. 3 rounds, 14 under par, 64 on the South Course in the opening round at Berkeley Hall. Pete, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. That's one heck of a round. I mean, you know, the length they set up that course, and I was talking to some of the people who played and some of the caddies, they said where they stuck those pins, they never thought they could access them. For a kid to play that good is phenomenal.
How good are the young players that are not yet on our radar as tour players, but are going to be someday?
You know, it's amazing the competition out there today. I mean, you know, you go back to the 90s or the age of the 70s, if you shot under par, you were really something good. Where nowadays, like you said, they're shooting 7, 8, 9 under par. You have to shoot that to win. So these kids are really, really something.
Yeah, he was 14 under par for his 3 rounds. That's all, just
that's
3
amazing.
Rounds out at Berkeley Hall. Vanderbilt kid, I mentioned Brant Snedeker, Vanderbilt kid, winner of the RBC Heritage, talked to the team last fall, and it was interesting that Hunter said he talked to them a little bit about personal management on the golf course, how to not get too high, not get too low, and keep your targets simple.
Yeah.
And really gave them a lesson that you teach.
Exactly. You know, these kids are so, they've done all the mechanical things they can do, and now they're learning at a younger age that it's more about managing what's inside and what's going through your head, and how to keep that calm and control and so forth, so that they can shoot these low numbers.
Managing your way around the golf course. Now, a guy who is actually a year younger than Hunter Stewart has already jumped all this college stuff and has gone out and won on the PGA Tour. I had a chance to watch Jordan Spieth a couple of years ago when he was still in high school play in the Byron Nelson, and he, you know, played top 10 quality golf and then went to his prom. Now he's a winner on the PGA Tour. Everybody talks about the great shot he hit at 18 from the bunker, you know, holes out a bunker shot to get into the playoff. You saw something in the playoff, though, that really taught you a lot about it.
Yeah, I tell you what, his demeanor and everything else, for him to look at that last hole when everybody else was in trouble on that final playoff hole, and to hit a shot that he knew was going to keep him out of trouble, as opposed to trying to hit that career shot, that really showed that the mettle that this kid has is far, far beyond his years.
I have, in watching him play, again, he's just now getting ready to turn 20. He's already to that point where he doesn't get too high when things are going well, doesn't get too low when things are going poorly. Very even-keeled temperament, and you've got to have that.
You got to have it. Kind of reminds us of another major champion and phenomenal golfer was Ernie Els. I mean, Ernie Els is like an old man in a young man's body, and it's kind of what Jordan has. Yeah. Not as a knock, but as a compliment.
Yeah, he certainly has a little extra something that has made him a winner on the tour. He not only becomes a tour member by winning, his FedEx Cup points that he's been accumulating throughout a great rookie season that didn't count because he wasn't a member of the tour, now they all count, and he's in the top 11
That's
now
unbelievable.
On the points list. So he's looking at playing in the Tour Championship for a guy who did not have any status on the tour at the beginning of the year. A guy who has had an awful lot of status on the PGA Tour for a long time, and now is a winner on the European Tour. First time he's ever actually won a tournament on the European Tour.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, the Scottish Open and Phil Mickelson. And it was filled with thrill all the way, wasn't it?
Typical Phil fashion. He had to make a drama. You know, he had to make the theater. You know, he 3-putted the last hole from what, 20 feet, but then he goes ahead and he hits a shot that probably only Phil could hit off that hard pan. hits it to about 6 inches and taps in for the win.
Yep, Scottish golf, links golf, something Phil did not used to like. Apparently has kind of gotten into it. It's begun to grow on him. Will that make a huge difference for him and for a lot of the players when they play this week, the British Open?
I think it's got to give him a lot of confidence going forward. You know, he's finally got that monkey off his back. You know, after he won that first Masters, the monkey's off his back. He went on to win a couple more. I think this could probably propel Phil to that next level. How
much really different is links golf? What are the players seeing that they don't see on the PGA Tour when they play here?
You know, I think it's getting in their mind that over here it's so much target golf. If you hit the ball to a certain place, it's going to hit and stop. When you hit it over there, you could get that really goofy bounce. So you got to be mentally prepared to really accept the bounces you get and not get too mad about that.
The kind of player who will be well served at Muirfield will be obviously a player who can keep the highs and lows out and can keep an even keel. But technically, what kind of a player do you think plays well?
You know, everybody says you got to hit it low to win over there, but you know, you take Jack Nicklaus. Jack hit it higher than anybody. He won how many times? 3 times over there. Tom Watson was a high ball hitter. He won 5 times. So I don't think it has to do with hitting it high or low. I think it has to do with managing yourself and managing your game together.
Every player that has won the Open Championship at Muirfield since World War II is in the Hall of Fame. Does that tell you a little something about
it tells you a little bit something about championship mentality.
Yeah, it really does. And the guys who have won, of course, Ernie Els the winner the last time they played it there in 2002, and he came in as the defending champ this past week. So just incredible performances we have to look forward to at the Open Championship and while we watch links golf. A guy who plays a little different game than the guys we're used to. We're talking about playing links golf. Kenny Perry. He has played one way his entire career, and it has certainly served him well overall when he gets on a roll. Tell me about Kenny Perry and how that swing works and how he does it.
You know, Tiger's always talking about owning his swing, but you take a guy like Kenny Perry who more or less built his swing on his own, and if you build something on your own, you do own it. And you know, there's no one else to say, well, do this or do that. So, and you take players like that. Once they get in their rhythm, they just take it and run with it. And this past week was a perfect example of that.
You would not teach his swing, would you?
I don't know if I could.
I'm not sure he could.
I don't know if he could. It'd be hard to replicate something
But
like
Kenny
that.
Perry has now won back-to-back major championships on the Champions Tour, winning the Senior U.S. Open in Omaha. Great golf course, I thought, too. Good hilly golf course, and again, an unbelievable win. We've got a lot coming up in the show. Peter Orell, he is the CEO of Junior Sports Corporation. You know it more as the Hank Haney IJGA. He's going to come back and talk about how his kids have done this past year and how they're going to be doing in the coming years. We'll be back with that as Golf Center continues. Not very often we bring the CEOs onto Golf Center. We're bringing the big guy in for this one. Peter Orell, who is the CEO of the Junior Sports Corporation. You know it more as the Hank Haney IJGA, a force on the island in instruction of junior golf. Peter, great to have you here. It has been another great year at the Hank Haney IJGA. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have been up to.
Yeah, it has been. Thanks very much for having me. We're really excited about where the Academy is. We're in our 18th year, and we're in the process of building our student body for the coming fall. School starts on August 19th. And it looks to be another great year. We're really excited about where we're going and some of the improvements we've made to the program.
Tell us a little bit about the program and how it has evolved, particularly even maybe over the last 4 or 5 years and since Hank got involved. What's changed?
Well, I think the biggest change is the customization of the program. I think that it's best described by the personal performance plan that we introduced a couple of years ago, which is really all about a holistic approach to each individual student. So we work with the parents and the student to come up with a plan that will take the student to his or her full potential. It focuses on mental training, physical fitness, nutrition, rest, academics, and certainly golf skills. Really anything that will allow us to help that student achieve his or her true potential, not only in golf, but in life. I mean, our product is really a competitive advantage in life. It's not just about golf. It's about using golf to teach the lessons that will help our students really succeed in life. That's
You know,
probably the biggest change.
That's a great thing, and it really seems to be working. Can you tell us about some of the students that have graduated and the success that they've enjoyed going forward after they left your program, given that you guys have given them those great fundamentals?
Yeah, we have a number of students who are emerging onto the LPGA. We have several who are on the LPGA. Just this past spring, we had 35 students graduate. One of them comes to mind is Mickey Warinsky. Mickey had been with us for 4 years, and he's down at Texas A&M and on their golf team, and we're really looking forward to seeing what he does. So that's a name you probably want to keep in mind, Mickey Warinsky. His older brother Richie was with us for 4 years as well, and he's on the golf team at Georgia Tech doing quite well.
Yeah, I think the college placement you all have done, that's
Really
the great selling point really is the end result, and that's getting these kids opportunities that they might not have had otherwise.
Yeah, we're really proud of the fact that we have 100% college placement, and more than that, we have more than 90% of our students earning scholarships to go to college. And at Heritage Academy, we've really made some significant changes. On the island, I think Heritage Academy used to be thought of as the golf school, but it's so much more than that. The improvements and investments we've made in the academics and the technology, academic accreditation, and so much more. We're so proud of our school.
Are you guys really a part of creating all of that too at Heritage Academy? I think people consider it, you said yes, it's the golf school, consider them really two separate entities, but there's a lot more integration in the planning than we might think.
There certainly is. We own Heritage Academy. It's owned by Junior Sports Corporation and is fully integrated into that thing I talked about a minute ago, which is the personal performance plan. So we own the school, we own the academy, we own the golf tour, the International Junior Golf Tour, and we own our own residential housing. So all of those come together to allow us to really put a plan in place that can develop our students on all dimensions and get them to their true potential.
Might still be openings in this fall's class?
There are. There definitely
How can
are
people find
openings.
out about it?
We do have a capacity, but at this time of year, we're still signing up kids. And all they need to do is get in touch with us, go online, look up Hank Haney Junior Golf Training, and we'll be right there. The Hank Haney IJGA, International Junior Golf Academy. While you're thinking about sports development in general, also, you know, the Yvonne Lendl International Junior Tennis Academy is one of our businesses as well. And so if your junior is involved in tennis, by all means, have a look at what we can offer there as well.
That's terrific. Peter Orell, the CEO of Junior Sports Corporation. Thanks so much for joining us on Golf Center.
It's always a pleasure being here. Thank you.
All right, we've got much more ahead as we come back. We're going to be talking golf cars. You're going to learn something in our next segment. Stay with us. Welcome back to Golf Center, the one show where when we talk about cars, we're not talking about fast and we're not talking about, you know, red hot and crazy. We're
Not Indy 500.
No, slow-moving vehicles will get you where you want to go. We are joined by Eric Goldstein, who is the manager of Lowcountry Golf Cars. Eric, I guess the first question I always want to ask is, what's new? We all go out and drive golf carts when we're out playing. What's new in the golf cart world?
Well, there are a couple new things. There's some new technology, smarter technology, more efficient power technology for the electric powered golf cars. IJGA has come up with some really great technology in that regard. And then there are new laws regarding proper use of golf cars, which include speed and safety of golf cars. And that's been a lot in the press lately, as far as being able to drive golf cars at night and so forth. And we're not really sure where that's going to land yet, but those are the two most popular topics of late.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about smarter golf carts. Charging them up has always been the issue. Getting them charged, getting them ready to go. Where has the technology gone there? How is it better?
Good question. There's always been gas and electric.
Right.
And there's still, depending on the community that you live in and where you are, you can still have gas or electric. But most people tend to use the electric. And traditionally, you would plug it in, charge it up, the charger shuts off, and you're done, and you're good for a good round or two of golf and come home. But today, the batteries have gotten so much better, the technology of the golf cars have gotten so much better. The newer IJGA model is actually an AC-powered car, so the source of power that actually drives the vehicle is much more efficient. So by definition, you're going to get a longer charge on your batteries or a longer run time on your golf car. So AC power, regenerative braking. A lot of golf cars have regenerative braking, so when you hit the brake, it actually charges the batteries while you're driving. Some cars do that better than others, kind of like a Toyota Prius.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this some of the same technology we're starting to see into the cars as
Absolutely.
well?
Absolutely.
Is there a difference in the batteries with the voltages and so forth?
Very good question. There are a lot of different ways to configure the power source in a golf car. Traditionally, they were 36 volts, where you had six 6-volt batteries. Most golf courses did that for their fleets. And then came along the 48-volt systems, which were designed for a little more power, a little more run time. And there you can have many different configurations for 48 volts. I'd be happy to get into that if you like, but it can take some time.
Does that 48 volt, does that give you a lot of extra power, or maybe you could drive it on the street if somebody wanted to?
Well, the legality of driving on the street's a whole separate issue, whether
Right.
it's 48 volt or 36 volt. However, if you want to be street legal with what's called a low-speed vehicle, it needs to be 48 volt by definition.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because you mentioned it's a whole other thing. We're getting to the legalities of things because different communities on the island have
Exactly.
different rules,
That's
and certainly there.
It's causing a stir.
Yeah, EasyGo is who you work with, obviously. Tell us a little bit about them. What makes EasyGo different than Club Car? I'll just throw it right out there.
I get that question every day.
Yeah.
And actually, to clarify, we represent, EasyGo is the large brand that we represent, but we also now represent Yamaha, which is
Okay.
another large brand, and Star electric vehicles, and a few other smaller ones like Gorilla and Bad Boy Buggy.
Okay, sell me an EasyGo car opposed to, say, a Club Car.
Okay, well, for the most part, a golf car is a golf car is a golf car. But a lot of it boils down to personal preference and the technology inside. So as I was referring to earlier about the AC technology and the regenerative braking that this new EasyGo has, it makes it a little different than any other model, whether it's a Yamaha, Club Car, Star, or whatever else you may be comparing it to. It's an apple amongst all other oranges. But that technology also makes it great. Comparing it to a Club Car, it would be compatible to the older model EasyGo as well as the current model Yamaha. Those are DC powered cars, 48 volt vehicles, and it really boils down to personal preference. Do you like the car? Do you like the way it looks? Do you like the way it rides? And price. And there's definitely a price point between the different models.
Kind of like going car shopping.
It really is like
It is
very
exactly
much.
right. And I recommend when you go
Yeah.
shopping for a golf car, if you're interested in doing that, go drive them. I mean,
Sure.
they do drive differently. A used one, a new one, a refurbished one, a Yamaha, a Club Car, an EasyGo, they're all going to perform and ride a little differently.
Eric, where could people find out more about what's going on at Lowcountry Golf
Please
Cars?
come by and see us at Lowcountry Golf Cars at 649 North WHHI Highway, which is right across from Riverbend on Highway 170.
All right, great. We appreciate you coming in. Eric
Thank you.
Goldstein from Lowcountry Golf Cars.
Thanks for having me.
We've got much more ahead as Golf Center continues. Well, we're always trying to get better with our game. Pete knows that and works with that at Golf Performance. And we're always trying to get better, and we always like to hear new thoughts. And we're going to bring a new thought into the fore here as Jason Baile, who is the new head teaching professional at Belfair, joins us. Jason, welcome to Golf Center, and welcome up from Sea Island. You actually had to come north to take a job here.
I did. Thank you very much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the Sea Island way of doing things. You've been down there with Todd Anderson and that gang for a while. Tell us a little bit about where your background is with relationship to that.
Certainly. We're very fortunate at Sea Island. I was very fortunate to be there. As an instructor, you're constantly learning. And I had the opportunity to take a job down there at the Sea Island Learning Center, work with Todd Anderson and Jack Lumpkin and Mike Shannon and Gail Peterson, all the other great professionals down there. And to just go down there and get basically a master's degree in how to instruct golf was tremendous.
Jason, you got to be around 4 of the top 50 teachers in the country, and you got to learn a lot from them. With that, you're around a lot of PGA Tour professionals quite a bit. What does the average person not realize about PGA Tour pros?
Well, they're just like us. They're just like a normal everyday golfer. They just have a little more talent than we have, but they work on the same types of things. Everything's relative in the game of golf, so they're working really hard constantly on their short game, just like we all should and all of our students. They're trying things constantly to get better off the golf course with their fitness, with how they prepare for a round, the way they treat their bodies. The same types of things that all of our students should be working on as well. I mean, simple things like how do you stretch out, how do you practice, and what are you eating prior to a round? Are you keeping your energy levels up? Those are the types of things that those guys are doing. And not to mention short game, short game, short game. They're just constantly working there to get better every day.
Is that something you bring to Belfair? Is that their philosophy? Is that what you're working with your students there?
We're working on creating a coaching environment at Belfair, and a constant coaching environment where we're working on all aspects of your game. We want to make sure that every student that comes in to see us at Belfair has the opportunity to improve as much as they'd like to. So we customize programs all the time to make sure that each student knows exactly where they need to go from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, and from a golf swing standpoint. We want to make sure that they are always prepared for what the next stage or next level in their game is.
You talk about student. I want to clarify a couple of things. Does student mean? I mean, you're taking all age groups, I would imagine. And do you have to be a member of Belfair to take advantage of your teaching?
You do not.
Okay.
We have over 770 members at Belfair, family memberships, of course, but we have a teaching staff that's prepared to take people from outside the gates as well. We want Belfair to be known as one of the top places in the Southeast to take golf lessons and to work on your game holistically.
Yeah.
We got some great instructors down here in the Hilton Head area, and I'm just happy to be a part of that group.
Jason, if there was one thing that the people at home could really grasp on, or that you could tell them, what piece of advice would you give them to work on?
One of the things I see all the time in golf instruction every day, especially with the age group we have sometimes at Belfair, and it goes down to kids as well, is the role of the right arm in the golf swing. A lot of players are running out a right arm early in their swing, and simply what that means is, in an effort to get the club head back to the golf ball, their right arm extends real early. And just like if you were throwing or hitting a baseball or swinging a tennis racket, your right arm's really not going to extend until at the end of the follow through. And most players that we see at Belfair, Sea Island, and other places that I've been, they're running out of that right arm early. That usually comes from not turning forward and in a big hurry to get the club head to the ball. They're extending that right arm, and that's where our thin shots come.
Wait a minute. You've seen me play. Jason, you've seen me play. Yeah, and coming over the top with that too to get it going.
Seems like everybody's in a hurry nowadays.
Oh,
No
we
doubt.
are. Yeah, we really do need to slow down. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Kenny Perry's performance last week at the U.S. Senior Open reminds us to just take it easy. You're not going to hit the golf ball with your backswing.
Slow walk spoil.
Indeed.
There you go.
Jason, thanks so much for joining us. For more information, contact the Belfair website or call you?
Certainly, you can reach me at Belfair anytime at www.belfair1811.com. We'd love to help you with our game. We've got a tremendous staff there, and really appreciate you guys having me today.
Jason Baile, the new head teaching professional out at Belfair, joining us here on Golf Center. Been a great show this
Great
week.
show,
I've had
yeah.
a lot of fun. Looking forward to post-British Open and what's going to happen next week.
A lot of activity in the golf world right now.
Oh, baby, we got another month to lead up to the PGA, and we hope you'll join us on Golf Center.